Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I wanted to talk about the Valkyrie and compare it to the Starlancer TAC. Now I previously made a video comparing the Starlancer TAC to the Paladin, which makes a lot less sense because the Paladin is kind of more geared towards being a dedicated two-person gunship, in my opinion, and the Starlancer TAC really is a better dropship platform where you can stage different combat scenarios, right? And a better ship to compare that to would be the Valkyrie. And since PTU 4.1 has introduced some updates to the Valkyrie that are pretty significant and I feel like make a big difference to this ship. So I think this comparison comes at the perfect time in my opinion, right? So to start off, I want to go through some of the updated specifications with the Valkyrie and talk about what it's moving from, what it basically was before. So the Valkyrie here is 46 meters. It now has 96 SCU off grid, 90 SCU on grid. So previously the Valkyrie had 30 SCU on grid, and I believe you could always fit 96 SCU off grid. But having that 90 SCU now lockable is a nice change. Now, in terms of shielding, it has 4 size 2s that equate to around 18,960 HP as stock. It will vary depending on what shields you put in it. In terms of weaponry, it went from 2 size 3s on a nose gun underneath to now having 2 size 3 with that under nose gun and 2 size 4s, one on each of the wings out here. So you're getting 2 extra size 4s, which is a good thing. Okay, the hull HP is 44,053, and it is going to be much more maneuverable than the Starlancer TAC. So that's kind of what I think is the differentiator between a ship like the TAC and the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie it has faster roll rate, has faster SCM speeds. So if you want to be more agile as a dropship and kind of hot drop troops in combat scenarios, you might want something that's more faster and more maneuverable, right? So here is kind of what comes down to the pain point for the Valkyrie for a lot of people. That's the price. It's coming in at $375. Okay, that's not cheap if you're looking at what this ship is capable of in terms of firepower, because a lot of people are also going to compare it to maybe something like the Andromeda that has 4 pilot control size 5s. But again, the Andromeda is kind of more of an all-around gunship, and I would say that this is kind of more geared towards being a dropship. So now let's bring in the Starlancer TAC and really see how these numbers stack up. All right, so now we have the Starlancer TAC set side by side the Valkyrie. So the Starlancer TAC is going to be the same size as the Starlancer Max, 83 meters. It's going to have 96 SU as standard, 130 estimated off grid, which would be similar to the Max. The Max, again, can hold a little bit more, but this is going to vary depending on what kind of boxes you get for what kinds of missions or what your use case is going to be. You can typically hold a little bit more around the elevator area, but I think 130 is just a nice round number. So that's kind of what I'm putting. That's why it's kind of 130 estimated. Then you have 2 size 3 shields giving you 112,200 HP. So you have significantly more shields than the Valkyrie here. It's not even close, right? Because you have 2 size 3s versus 4 size 2s. Then in terms of pilot control weapons, you have 4 size 4s that are pilot control. This is the same with the Starlancer Max. So you have 2 more larger size weapons than you do on the Valkyrie, so you're going to have more DPS potential on the Starlancer TAC. Then in terms of hull HP, you have 84,200. So almost double what the Valkyrie has. Then the kind of special feature about the Starlancer TAC, in my opinion, is going to be those two med bays. It also has more turrets than the Valkyrie. Um, and kind of that drop ship platform that can be lowered to let the troops go, whereas with the Valkyrie you kind of have to run out the back. um but they both have guns on the doors, on the side doors. If you open the sides of the TAC, that's where the gun's going to be. The TAC is in concept right now, but that's how it seems like it's supposed to function. And the TAC also has that extra feature of having the Fury hanger in the top at the middle here, so you can have a snub fighter with the TAC. um but the really interesting thing about the TAC is, uh, on concept, it's coming at 330. Now I have here 375 estimated because typically when ships move from concept to full sail, they go up in price. Sometimes they can go up in price significantly, depending, right? And I think that a lot of people are going to make comparisons between the Starlancer TAC and the Valkyrie, what it currently offers. So it would look really bad, right, if the TAC comes out at 350 and undercuts the Valkyrie with so much more features, right? The med beds, the extra hanger, the more cargo, the more hull HP, the more shields, the more pilot control weapons. The list kind of just goes on and on. So it wouldn't make any sense for the Valkyrie to even, for people to even buy with real money, right? Now, buying it in game, again, it does have an advantage over the TAC because it's going to be more maneuverable, right? I know there are people who don't like the letterbox windshield and how the Starlancer Max handles, right? So you're going to have those players who say, okay, right, the TAC is going to be a better value right out of the gate. So I'm just going to, get the Valkyrie in game. But for real money, I think it would be, again, kind of problematic if CIG releases the TAC for less than the Valkyrie. Now, in my personal opinion, I think the Valkyrie is kind of overpriced here. I think the Starlancer TAC at 350 or 330 is a good deal. Realistically speaking, at 330, you should, I believe it's going to go on sale again for Fleet Week. I don't think the Starlancer TAC is going to be straight to fly, but it would be really cool. And again, here's my prediction. I would say if the TAC was available for Fleet Week, like they had it finished and they just wanted to have the Starlancer Max for i.e. last year, and they're going to have the TAC available for Fleet Week this year because the A variant of the Starlancer was kind of hinted at CitizenCon. So it kind of makes sense for the TAC to kind of go on sale and be available at Fleet Week this year. Again, I'm not saying it will be, but it's a possibility. So I also wanted to bring in the M2 because the M2 also had some updates with 4.1, right? They added in the nose turret to be pilot controlled. Here, the M2 is 94 meters. It's even larger than Starlancer TAC. It has 522 SCU on-grid storage. I'm not sure what the off-grid storage on the M2 is. I'm not as familiar with this ship. It has two size 3 shields, so it's going to have the same shield HP as the TAC. Again, that is depending on what shields you use with this ship. If you do the military grade or something like that, you might have different hit points there for your shields. Then it has two size 5 pilot controls up here and two size 4s on the nose. Right, so you have even more pilot control DPS than the Starlancer TAC. But again, and I think in terms of maneuverability, these ships are pretty comparable. But you have a lot more hull HP. You have 101,820 hull points, hit points for the hull. And it's kind of like special feature is that it can carry tanks and ballistas. Now it has an armory with suit lockers and stuff like that, but the TAC also has suit lockers and armory up at the front. So I didn't have that as a special feature. I think its kind of breakout special feature is that it can carry those larger ground vehicles and smaller ships because of its larger cargo area. Um, so its price is going to come in at $520. So it's going to be significantly more expensive than the rest of them. But again, you're getting more shield, you're getting more hull HP, you're getting a lot more cargo. So in terms of a drop ship, its primary downside is that the drop sheets are upstairs. So that means that all of your fighters gonna have to use the elevator or the ladder, and that means that it's not really a drop ship designed for combat zones, although the trailer for this ship actually shows it flying into a battlefield. I would say the M2 is kind of more designed to drop troops off at a forward operating base, or kind of stay a little bit further back, right? And again, this gameplay is not fully implemented in the game yet, but for something like Jump Town or whatnot, it wouldn't really make sense to get an M2 to drop troops off at Jump Town. Doesn't really make sense. But if you had an M2, you landed a little bit further out, you had everyone load up in a Spartan and then drive to Jump Town. That is kind of more where I would say the M2 fits in. So to kind of also put things into perspective price wise, I also wanted to bring in the regular Starlancer Max. Okay, so in terms of the Starlancer Max, it's going to be the same size, 83 meters, 224 SCU, on grid, 288 off grid estimated. You should be able to do a little bit more than that. I have in the past before. One size 3 shield, 56,100 HP. 4 size 4s pilot controlled, 84,200 hit points for your hull. And it's kind of primary advantage, has large interior rooms, so you could walk around. It's a little bit more comfortable. But it's coming in at $250 right there. So the price is much cheaper than something like the Valkyrie. And the only thing you're really missing is the drop seats. It does also have an armory on the inside in the front. And yeah, turrets, so you could have people on the inside hop on there. What's nice is that the turrets are on the bridge and the remote turrets, so all your crews on the bridge there. So really, in terms of comparisons, right, Starlancer TAC is going to be very attractive for those people looking at the Valkyrie. Now, the Valkyrie changes, in my opinion, makes it substantially more competitive, or puts it closer in line to what a ship of this nature is supposed to be. And again, in my personal opinion, the reason why someone would go with a Valkyrie over a Starlancer TAC is probably going to be that maneuverability, right? If you want to have the ability to drop troops off at Jump Town or something like that, you are going to want a ship that is more maneuverable. And now that the Valkyrie has more firepower, it makes that gameplay a little bit more doable. So let me know what you guys think about the Valkyrie changes in the comments down below. Same thing with the M2. Have you been taking it out more and using it more in the story content that CIG has been putting out? I really want to hear from you guys. I love talking to you guys in the comments. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. But that's gonna be it for me in this video, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me again. And like I always say at the end of these videos, so like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Salut.